What's up guys, Scott here from Chernobyl Studios, and I'm very excited to announce my new training series, Mixing Your First Metal Song. Now, let me discuss a couple things about this training course. I think you guys are really going to like it. Now, just how many times have you sort of been your own worst enemy? You know, when you get started mixing or you're trying to move along and grow, where you're sort of doing stuff and you really just have no confidence in what you're doing. And I'm just laughing at myself right now because as I'm saying these things, I'm just remembering things I used to tell myself many years ago. Would just be in my own head a lot. You know, we'd call it like psychological warfare on myself a little bit. And for a while, I legitimately just about gave up on trying to do this stuff. And with this training series, it's really my goal to make sure that you guys don't go through that, okay? Because it's a really crappy experience. And so instead of going through it alone, trying to make sense of all these YouTube videos with all these tips and pointers that are like, I don't really know how to apply it. I created this A to Z concise training series that's going to help you build fundamental, foundational mixing skills that you can grow on and improve as you continue to mix. Because there's a lot to focus on, right? Mixing is hard. It really is. You know, it's like we have a lot of this information where just do this, just do that, and have a great mix. There are just still some foundational things that we can't speed up, or we can't, get a plugin to do it for us. And a lot of those things come down to mix balance, levels, understanding how to separate elements of a mix so things can be heard, when stuff is going on. And that's stuff that comes with experience, but it would be a lot easier if at least someone could show you in a very concise way, hey, this is mix balance. This is how to achieve mix balance. These are levels and how to get the levels of all the tracks sounding well together. And hey, by the way, this is how you can achieve kick and bass separation and balance so that it all sounds good together, right? Wouldn't that be great? I wish I had that resource 10 years ago, but I put it in here so that you guys don't have to go through that frustration. This is really just going to help you start mixing right away. Okay, I'm going to go A to Z with you. I'm going to show you how to develop a workflow, why you need a workflow, how a workflow will help you become faster and more efficient as a mixer. I'm going to talk about where you should place your instruments, why instruments are placed in a certain way, and why you should decide on where you want things to be and leave it. Color coding. I'm going to talk about cleaning up the track so you can visually see what is going on with your mix and why all of these elements are very important. Basically, I'm going to show you all of the necessary skills and tricks that high-level mixers pay their assistants to do. Because, yeah, it's not the most beautiful aspect of mixing, but you need to know how to do these things so that you can become faster, more efficient, and make better decisions when you start mixing. Let's talk more about the things that you're going to learn, okay? Like I just said, you're going to learn how to create a logical workflow to become faster and more efficient, okay? There are going to be rules of thumb for track organization, color, cleanup, and so on. Gain staging. I discussed gain staging in the digital era. Things that may not matter versus things that are very important. How to level your instruments, okay? This is very important. In this training series, I have a dedicated video discussing static mixing and mix balancing and how it can be practiced so that you can develop your ears to understand when something is too loud or when something is too low. And I'll show you how I practiced it years and years ago so that I could get better at this, so that now mix balancing is just part of the equation of mixing. Because believe it or not, the volume fader and the pan knob are two of the most crucial and powerful weapons that you have in mixing that I don't think it's used enough. Now, most important, I cover program drums and program bass. This is really geared towards you who might be a complete absolute beginner, or you have a little bit of experience and you just can't get the real thing. Who cares? What I do want to do is help you make the most of those elements, okay? What do you have to do with program drums, and what do you not have to do with program drums? Same thing with bass, program bass. What do you need to do? What do you not need to do? Okay, there's a lot of things on YouTube. Yeah, you need to do your bass and then do the program drum. Yeah. Is it really necessary? You're going to come to find out that no, it's really not. And I'm going to show you a great approach to getting awesome sounding program drums and bass in a relatively simple way. Just basic EQ, a little bit of compression, a unique plugin on the drum bus that I think you guys might not even know exists, but I think you guys are going to like it. This is a really unique approach, and you're going to be able to get the most out of your program drums and bass. Now, speaking of the bass, I will show you a time-tested, well-proven method to getting a thick, consistent low end with your bass, as well as to be able to have an ability to control both the low end and the high end of your bass on 2 different faders. Okay, it's a tried and true method. I'll show you exactly how to do that, and moreover, I will show you how you can create space between your kick and the bass guitar, make them work together so that they're not, stepping on top of each other, because that's really a big issue when you start mixing in the beginning of how to get the low end sorted out so you get a nice consistent low end that's working together. Furthermore, we will create some quad track guitar tones. Going to be going down a little bit of a different road with the guitar tones. I think you're going to like it, but it's a unique guitar tone, a different way to do stuff that I think you will find very interesting. Most importantly though, is I'm going to show you a way to avoid that harsh sounds of digital guitars and stuff like that, to include really easy EQ techniques that you can do. If you're in my guitar tone mastery, you already have a pretty good idea how this is going to work. But if you're not in guitar tone mastery, it doesn't matter. I don't withhold any information like that. I show you exactly what you need to do to get the guitar tone to sit well in the mix. Now, even more than that, we have some lead guitars in here, and I will show you a great way to make your lead tone pop, so it separates itself from the rhythm guitars and can be heard even when there are vocals going on in the song. Now, this is a great aspect of this series, is I'm going to show you my actual real life mastering chain, every single plugin that I use, and I discuss why I use those plugins. It doesn't matter what plugins you use for mastering it or what you want to have on your master bus, but it's always pretty cool when someone will take the time to show you their master bus processing. So there's a full walkthrough of all the elements of my master chain and how I use them and how it affects my mix. Of course, we will also discuss how to use reverb and delay, including a reverb secret that you, I mean, it's legitimately a secret. People just don't do it, right? It's legitimately a secret. People don't think to do it, but it is a legit reverb secret to help make your mixes sound pretty big. I think you guys are going to like that one. Now, I'm also going to show you how you can work with vocals in a bit of a unique way, okay? And this really comes from years of experience of me working on vocals, that instead of putting you guys through the pain of that experience and the frustration, I'm actually going to show you how I do it in this present day, how I work with vocals in this present day, that I think that you guys are going to be very happy to adopt, because I just find the process far easier with much more control, and it makes vocals way more, just much more pleasant to work with, instead of perhaps the old way where you slap it on the compressor and you hope to find a spot. I gotta automate all these things. Nope, I'll show you just how I work with vocals, how to even them out, how to make sure that they go and get the compressor nice and smooth, and so that your vocals are pretty consistent all the way throughout the mix, so you don't have big jumps in dynamic volume. Now, of course, I will also show you the last 10%, otherwise known as automation, okay? And why we do automation, like what is the actual point of automation? There's a lot more to automation than just, this part louder, this part. I'll show you why automation is important and why it really is the last 10% to get your mix just like, to grab the listener by the throat and get them very interested in your music, okay? So quick recap, this thing is 5 hours of concentrated material, okay? And I really like that it's around 5 hours because it's short, concise, you're going to be able to watch it quickly, and you're going to be able to put what I say into practice yourself quickly, literally this weekend. So you can watch it and already start mixing your own song before the weekend is out. So you don't have to spend a week watching all of the content. 5 concentrated hours of everything I do, A to Z. You're going to get the multi-tracks for the song, and yes, feel free to post your mix. You're also going to get my actual Reaper 6 mixing session, so the one that you see me in the course creating and doing all those things, bam, I pop that in the course. You can open it and you can have a look and see what I did. Now, speaking of DAWs and Reaper, what I've done is I've taken Reaper 6, Cubase Pro 11, Studio One Pro 5, Cakewalk by BandLab, and Logic, and I have created the mix setup for you. Like, what that means is I've imported all the tracks, I've cleaned them all up, I've done the routing. All you have to do is open it and start mixing. So it's a great way to get a head start if you want to follow along with the videos and things like that. And if you don't really want to do the boring kind of stuff or whatever, you can just open up the session and start mixing straight away. Now, picking up this training means you're going to be entitled to join my private exclusive Discord community. I don't give this link out to anybody who is not in one of my training courses. This is a very awesome community that is growing. Hundreds of people already inside, and it really just restores my faith in humanity, if I can be honest with you, because there's no messing around, there's no trolling, there's just no nonsense. It's awesome. It's a bunch of people just wanting to get better at what they do and asking questions, helping each other out, sharing their guitar tones, sharing their mixes, talking about music. There's sharing memes. It's just, I've had a lot of fun, and creating this Discord community has been probably one of the best decisions I've ever made. So when you join this, you'll get the exclusive link for that, and you'll be able to join up. Now there's some supplemental material here. I have included a PDF discussing every plugin that I've used, why I've used it, but more importantly, I discussed when and why it's a good idea to buy a plugin, as opposed to when and why it may not be a good idea to buy a plugin. So I'm writing ways and expressing specific points on how you can avoid falling into the marketing hype of plugins that maybe you just don't need at all, but you keep getting those emails and you're like, oh. But I discuss very distinct questions that you can ask yourself that will help you knife through the marketing hype to see if you actually need the plugin or not. And finally, I have 3 supplemental videos. I have one about static mixing, mix balance, because mix balance is such a core aspect of mixing. We need to be able to find a way to practice it so our ears can get used to understanding how to balance, right? So I have a video about static mixing, mix balance, how to practice it. I have a video about compression, specifically what are all the knobs? What does attack mean? What does release mean? Because the words are almost nondescript. Attack, like what, you're punching someone? Release, you're letting something go? What is this? Okay, so I discussed the compressor settings and how to dial them in detail. Just a great supplemental piece of information, because I'll tell you what, sometimes even I'm confused with compressors, and I have it on really good authority that there's people who've been mixing for 20 years that also get confused by compressors sometimes. So it's always great to have a piece of supplemental video discussing compressors and how to set them in. And finally, I have a video discussing gain staging in the digital era, and discussing what maybe is important, what maybe you can kind of just be like, whatever, it doesn't matter. And I discuss ways that I tend to gain stage when I'm mixing, and really how I prefer to mix. So that's a lot of information that I'm giving in this video, and really the best thing to do is, click the link below. And if you want to avoid being frustrated, if you want to avoid feeling depressed and angry, and feeling like you can't get anywhere, and feeling like, oh my god, when am I finally going to understand this? If you want to skip through all that emotional turmoil, this is for you. Then please let me guide you around that. Let me help you understand the foundations to build upon, so that you can become better, and so that you can create the music that you hear in your head from your home. What I put in this training series is literally all the information that I wish I would have had when I started, because I would have saved myself so much anguish, so much tossing and turning at night, thinking, why am I doing this to myself? Can I really actually do this? And if I can help you avoid that experience, I'm happy. This is all about, I just want you guys to be able to mix your music. That's all really I want to do. I want to help you. All right, and that's basically it. That's what it comes down to. So go ahead, click below, join up, and I will see you in the exclusive Discord. All right, I'll be waiting for you. See you inside.